Should you leave your spouse or not? Should you leave your spouse or not? Are they worth it? Today I'm going to give you guys 4 major reasons why you should leave your spouse if necessary. Okay? Because many of you are holding on to relationships thinking that it's going to get better, thinking that your love is going to increase, when you find yourself by the day not liking your spouse more and more by the day. Is what I'm saying. You're disgusted with this person. They're not anything like they were when you met them. Sometimes you guys have children, and that further complicates the matter, because you're not having a love life and you're not spending any quality time, and these things affect the marriage. I was talking to a friend today who's going through some things in his marriage, and he really feels like he wants to go. So I was talking to him, and I was trying to get him to think of all of the reasons why he would stay, right? To which, in our discussion, I told him 4 main things, and if all of these 4 particular things, if they apply to him, then he may want to start packing up. Not suggesting him just to leave, break his family up or anything like that. But sometimes you have to realize that, we choose the wrong people sometimes. We settle for the wrong people often. Many of you guys out there are married to people that you didn't really feel like you loved, or, maybe there was something convenient about being married to them, or, both of you guys were building on something, anything other than love. Okay? So number 1, if you're with your spouse for any other reasons other than the fact that you actually fucking love this person, they're your friend, and all of those things, you might want to think about heading out. Because you have to be with this person for the long haul, and if you have children, you have to be there when the children leave the nest. You guys have to be each other's support network, and if there's nothing going on now, there most certainly won't be anything going on in the future. You get what I'm saying? So you have to think about the fact that, you may have chosen someone, for the wrong reasons. Sex, you felt lonely at the time. There are a lot of these reasons, right? So that's one of the first things that you want to do. You want to make sure, that you actually have the appropriate feelings for this person to spend the rest of your life with them. That's the first thing. Number 2, respect. And I'm trying to figure out how to word this in a better way. Respect, meaning that after those children came, somehow you guys, increasingly lost respect for each other, if that's a word to use, right? Over a period of time, the respectability levels decrease. How about that? So now, when you're late coming home from work or something, you don't inform your spouse. When you're having days off, you don't talk to your spouse about it. See? You don't think enough of them in your life to include them in your plans, right? So you guys have this disrespect going on where you're not talking to each other, and when you do talk, there's a lot of backbiting and down talking and all of that stuff. She doesn't think the same about you. You don't feel the same way about her. You think that she doesn't treat you properly as a man in the household. She doesn't think you help out enough in the household. You get what I'm saying? So you guys are in a position where you just don't have respect for each other. And that's a recipe for disaster. I can almost assure you, and I assured my friend, I can almost assure you out there that if you're in this situation, your relationship is not going to last long, right? You may even have some infidelity things going on later on down the line behind these reasons. Okay? So respect, number 2. The number 3 thing, let's see. When it comes to the child's rearing, if you guys have children, right? Equal input. Disenfranchisement. Some parents feel like one parent of the child has more leverage, right? The child shows more affection, or seems to they seem to be the go-to for that child. And in some situations, it was created and it was orchestrated that way because maybe one of the parents wanted more love and the child was there to provide something in them deeper than just the bond that you guys initially started with. You weren't enough. They needed something to complete them, fulfill them. They needed someone to love them in a level that they don't think that you're capable of. So you guys have children, and now that you have children, right, one of your children or half of them are not listening to you. And so that's bothering you, because this is the problem. I'm when I talk to people, this is what's going on with them. Maybe different from your circumstance, maybe a little different, but bear with me, okay? So the children, are not listening to you. And that's because during those hard times, right, when it was tough in the house, maybe one of you guys talked down about the other parent in front of the children. And you did that so much that the child has internalized that this parent isn't worth anything. So they show less affection to the parent they think less of. Now, in most cases, not all the time, but in a lot of situations we see this, and it's the dad who gets shitted on mostly. We're not making this about a male-female thing, but I'm just saying in this circumstance, I'm talking to a guy about this problem. He's a guy, he's a man, he's a dad. So I'm talking to him, and this is what he's dealing with. So when things like haircuts come up and he wants to take the boys for a haircut or something, if mom doesn't think it's the right time for them to get a haircut, then they have to go back and forth about something that fathers and sons have done for ages. Getting a haircut. When dad gets his haircut, son gets his haircut. See? So you're disenfranchising that parent by making the child believe that you are to know all, see all, say all, right? For everything. Meaning that if you don't endorse it, it shouldn't happen. So the child, is already feeling weird about the fact that you guys aren't on the same page. They need to get a haircut, but because you said that they're going to act this way or that way, they take cues from what you're saying. And then they don't cooperate when they go to get a haircut because mom said that, you're not going to sit still or something. You get what I'm saying, folks? I'm just showing you that kids are like sponges. They pick up stuff. So disenfranchising one parent or the other in front of the children is never a good deal. Never. It's always going to result in some type of hurt later on for one of you guys or both of you, because the child may resent both of you later on. Okay? Which brings me to the last thing. The last thing that you need to do, if you're trying to figure out you're on the edge and you're figuring out if you want to jump off or not. You want to leave this house. Okay? If you feel that your spouse has moved on emotionally, why are you hanging around? If you guys aren't having sex, if you don't sleep in the same bedroom, right? If you don't discuss the things you do in your leisure time, you don't watch your TV shows anymore, you don't do any of the stuff that you did for years. What is the point of having a marriage? You're just having a roommate. And you're keeping yourselves from getting the best out of life. You can meet that person that you could fall head over heels in love with and could fulfill the rest of your life. And that person, your spouse, they could do the same thing. But since y'all have these kids, because y'all didn't plan properly, so now you're trying to figure it out after the fact. You're going to hold on to this thing until the kids get grown. And then you're going to be old and miserable, right? So I want you guys to understand that, you don't have to stay in a relationship just for the heck of doing it, because you're hurting yourselves in the bigger picture. In the long run, you'll suffer more than anything. Okay? It's very important that you guys show each other respect, right? And when you realize it's time to go, it's time to go. If you got to even contemplate doing it, you might want to go. Get it? So I'm not going to talk too much about this guy's business, but I had to share this with you guys because I know that this is something, the divorce rate in this country and in other countries around the world and stuff, the divorce rate is pretty high, right? In the world at large. People don't tend to stay together anymore in these generations, these new generations. So, it's important to have that discussion because you may be on the fence right now. And I'm telling you just to leave. Get your shit together, both of y'all, amicably head on out, ride off in the sunset. That's what you do. I love bad behavior, folks. But I like working families even more, right? I love adults who are in a situation and know how to get out of it because they have assessed themselves, what they're willing to put up with, what they have put on the other spouse, and then move from there, right? And then everyone is happy, right? When you realize that you're in a relationship with someone who's not worthy of your time, energy, or space, you have to leave. Doesn't matter if y'all have kids. The kids will suffer in the process, okay? Just keep that in mind. Like, share, and subscribe, okay? Say those 3 things. Also, go over to Amazon and pick up my book, I Love Bad Behavior, right? Pick it up on my website, thinkbehavior.info, and try to have a good day, right? If you're going home tonight and you're working that late shift and your wife doesn't know because y'all don't talk and shit, and you get home late, I want you to, go in the fridge, get you a beer, go sit out on the patio or something, look at the stars, and think about your next moves, right? Because you don't want to painfully regret not doing the thing that's going to set you free and make you feel all of those comforts that you wanted to feel in your life. See you later.